In Beijing's Forbidden City, Lee Chiu, our reincarnator from Earth, lay ready for his rebirth ritual. He totally controls the Ming Empire's emperor like a puppet, earning him the title of history's worst traitor and biggest villain, messing with the empire's business. He even made the useless third princess the empress. But even with all that power, he just laughed. Suddenly, the empress stormed in, tears flowing as she begged him to stop. "Is this union of yin and yang really that important to you?" she asked. Holding his hands in desperation, Lee Chiu replied, "Forgive me for leaving before my service ends. I've been obsessed for over 50 years. Because I've been a V-card holder since my last life." He remembered getting isekai'd by the classic Truck-kun while crossing the street. He landed in a martial world, reborn as a 12-year-old, then kidnapped by a slaver. He recalled the horror of being tied up, screaming as the guy came at him with some very sharp gardening shears. "I tried everything to find a good doctor. I made the third-rate princess into the emperor. I even dove deep into martial arts and became the palace's top dog. But the doc said, creating something from nothing is not, well, impossible, Your Majesty, unless he's reborn." I was crushed when my plans failed. So, right then, I decided to get a new body, 3 wives, 4 concubines, and hookups with top-tier babes. I ordered the guards to get her out of here. She was crying, trying to stop me. I guess since we grew up together, the Empress feels like a kid sister to me. As she left, some shady guy asked, "Shall we begin?" I glanced down toward my grust, nether regions, and told him to get on with it. He unleashed his magic, a purple mist. As energy swirled around me, I slowly opened my eyes to an old dude calling my name. I woke up, and he said, "Glad you're safe." And then I remembered him and froze, with a nasty grin. He said, "I found you passed out near the main road and his store, brought you here. It was the guy who is the guy. Fixed me for the palace. 50 years ago, I was floored to see him alive. He was supposed to have been taken out by bandits. Wait. Could this be not reincarnation, but regression?" I immediately checked my junk. I was so relieved my sword was still there. Then he asked me, "Kid, you all right? You hurt anywhere?" I stared at him silently, then gave a psycho grin and said, "Sir, thanks for saving me. But, for some reason, my wrist is killing me. Maybe I landed on it. Could you please take a look for me?" He helped me up and said, "Let me see. I've got some good herbs at my place." Then he asked, "Want to come back with me?" And I smiled, then snapped his middle finger. "Why? So you can kidnap me again and trim me to sell as a eunuch?" He was totally shocked and screamed. I rushed him, putting his arm in a lock, smiling evilly and thinking, even though I've just regressed and have 0 internal energy, all the martial arts techniques from my past life are still fresh in my brain. Then I grabbed his neck, and as he screamed, I used all my strength and ended him right there. He dropped to the ground, totally dead. I spat on his face. It took me 50 years to get here because I was a mean eunuch. I stood there, then clenched my fist and shouted, "Now, I'm gonna live for the action." My revenge was complete. A couple months later, I was trudging up a snowy mountain, yelling my lungs out. So yeah, I'm currently scaling Mount Gongdong in Gansu province. I feel like I could pass out any second. But for the ultimate romantic bliss I've craved my whole life, this little agony is nothing. Blushing, I thought to myself, is there a world as deep as the art of love? If it was just about scratching an itch, I'd just make some cash and visit a pleasure house. I can't just throw away my V-card on some cheap thrill. My goal is to share true love with some absolutely stunning beauties. A love where we connect on every level, sharing our minds and bodies in perfect harmony, and give each other total fulfillment. I realize this is my true calling, the ultimate path of passion. To make this dream a reality, I need money and a big name. I gotta be a hero of the martial world. I stroked my chin and muttered, originally, I'd stashed a bunch of elixirs and secret manuals in my tomb for my next life. But since I just regressed instead, that's all off the table now. It's a bummer. But hey, it's not the end of the world. As I recalled my past life, I remembered the Eastern and Western bureaus. As the former head of the Empire's top spy agencies, I know a thing or two. I can basically see the next 50 years like it's written on my hand. With a smirk, I declared, if I just train my martial arts and use what I know about the future, shaking up this martial world should be a piece of cake. With a wicked grin, I thought, yeah, becoming a famous hero is right around the corner. Then I caught myself doing that creepy eunuch laugh again. Nope. Gotta fix that habit. I walked up to a rundown sect and thought, Harem King, Lee Chiu. Your grand story begins right here at the Gongdong sect. I cupped my hands confidently and yelled, anybody home? A confused dude shot to his feet, yelling, is that a kid's voice? He sprinted over, muttering, who'd be crazy enough to climb Mount Gongdong in this freezing weather? I took a deep breath and bellowed, I am Lee Chiu. My parents were taken by bandits, and my only dream is to become much stronger. Please, take me as a disciple of the Gongdong sect. So, the Gongdong sect is a martial arts school based in Taoism. You see, mixing Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoist styles. They're famous for their absolutely brutal fighting techniques. It's a style tailor-made to take down the evil forces of the martial world. To an outsider, you might mistake them for a demonic sect or some heretics. But their sheer grit is unmatched. When the sect leaders landed, the shockwave nearly blew me away, and I had to shield my face. One of them spoke up. You climbed Mount Gongdong this time of year, all by yourself. Do you have a death wish, kid? With a huge grin, I shot back. If it gets me into the Gongdong sect, I don't care about anything else, please. Make me your disciple. He paused to think, then said, let me see your arms and hands. I stepped up and said, of course. He began checking my head, thinking to himself, the natural ki in his body is already pushing out impurities. Was he using the tonal breathing technique on his way up the mountain? He then told me, the tonal breathing method is a technique that builds a foundation for ki accumulation and fortifies the dantian. To know that and climb this mountain means you've definitely got some talent. You've got a solid grasp on the fundamentals of martial arts. Did your parents teach you? I just answered. Yes. They did, with a wicked smirk. I thought, yeah. I learned it, cause long practice boosts my vitality. He just said, very impressive. I'm JN Yang, leader of the Gongdong sect. Joining usually has a whole process, but you've got potential. So I'm letting you in. I was totally stoked when he told me to come in. My mind was racing. Heh. It's all going as planned. The Gongdong sect is basically falling apart, so they can't afford to turn away a new recruit. My butt was on fire. But I thought, can't get complacent. I'll secretly boost my vitality with Kegels. But man, this place is a bigger dump than I expected. Barely any of these buildings are still standing. I scanned the whole area, thinking. I knew the Gongdong sect used to be one of the 9 great sects, a real powerhouse. But it got wrecked 50 years back in the huge war between good and evil. Seeing this dump in person really drives the point home, he said. Before we get to the boring rules, there's someone you need to meet. Your senior, and the head disciple of our sect. I nodded along, smirking to myself. I thought, the more trashed this sect is, the better it is for my grand plan. More room for me to invest before Sword Saint Eugene Yai's big debut. We stood in front of a house as JN Yang shouted, Eugene Y. Then he said, this is your new junior, Lee Chiu. For a moment, there was just dead silence. Then, out of nowhere, a crazy blizzard blasted towards me, and I had to shield my face. A figure landed in front of us, and I was floored. I'm not gonna lie. Guys, I can't tell if it's a dude or a chick, but I'm leaning girl. Anyway, back to the story. They said, a pleasure. Junior, I'm Eugene Y. I was stunned, thinking, wait, why is this dude so freaking handsome? I was so confused. In my past life, his portrait was super plain, and he always wore a bamboo hat. I figured the rumors about all the girls in the martial world simping for Eugene Y were total BS. So, what about my future? Looking concerned, she asked. You look pale. Are you sick or something? I yelled. Nope. I'm great, she grabbed my hand, saying, oh, good, don't be so formal. Let's be like brothers from now on. I clenched my jaw in pure jealousy, thinking, please let his little brother be only 3 cm. Squeezing my hand, she said, so, ready to go? I asked. Go where? She beamed. There are so many places I want to show you. I was bewildered, feeling like a total chump next to him. Then, she just took off, dragging me by the hand, and I just started yelling, glaring at him. I thought, I'm not trying to hold hands with a dude. I yanked my hand away. She just looked baffled. I could tell my reaction kind of hurt her. Looking lost, she scratched her head and apologized. Did I startle you? This is my first time getting a junior, so I guess I got a little carried away. I bowed my head and said, no, senior, I'm the one who should apologize. Inside, I was like, calm down. Man, you can't just ditch the Gongdong sect now. For my plan to work, I gotta get on good terms with Eugene Y. I'm sorry for being so rude. She stared at me, still confused. Elsewhere, JN Yang mused. The winter winds can be cruel, but it looks like Gongdong's long winter is finally starting to thaw. I really hope Chu and Eugene Y become good friends. He thought. About 10 years ago, I found Eugene Y, an orphan. Once I saw her genius, I poured everything I had into raising her as my own. She's the one and only hope to restore the Gongdong sect. Soon, Eugene Y will enter the martial world and have to interact with all sorts of men, with Sue, a guy my own age. I gotta master hiding the fact that I'm actually a girl in disguise. I was in bed like, tomorrow's a huge day for me. My grand first day at the sect. It's been 2 whole hours and I still can't even get a wink of sleep. I was fuming, thinking, it's all because of that dude, Eugene Y. Half a day ago. I bowed and was like, thank you for your guidance and your care, she replied. I'm thankful too. Then, with a blushing face, she said, I am so sorry for startling you all those times. Our past glory is gone, and this place is a real mess now. But I still want to be the one to introduce it to you, she explained. Even after the brutal massacre 50 years ago, Hunin Palace, where the sect master used to live, and Chonggun Hall, where the disciples all lived, are still around. She smiled, adding, the Gongdong sect hasn't fallen yet. I want you to see this for yourself. I was just listening, thinking to myself, 50 years ago, the great war between the righteous and demonic sects started with the fall of the Gongdong sect. At that time, no one thought the demonic cult would skip the Kunlun sect and hit the strongest one, the Gongdong sect. First, her reasons for telling me the history of this place are way over my head. I took a deep sigh and replied, all right. Please just don't get so close so suddenly like before. I'm a little shy. Looking worried, she bowed her head and said, yes, I was confused. Looking at her and thinking, yikes. She looks really bummed out. I probably shouldn't push this issue any further. I stepped forward, saying, hey, everybody makes mistakes. Don't be so bummed out. If you want to share the sect's history, I'll listen. She instantly lit up. Asterisk, asterisk, I explained. So far, my method for dealing with a boy my age was going great. All I had to do was say what he wanted to hear. However, there was one thing I totally overlooked. Suddenly, she hugged me, yelling, well then, let's go. I was so mad, thinking to myself, that guy, does he really think we're gonna start by slinging arms around each other's shoulders? Then I shrieked, and she got all flustered and apologized. Asterisk, asterisk. Back in my room, I hurled a brick at the wall and yelled, whether it's a bro hug or a full-on embrace, I'm only sharing that kind of thing with hotties. I was fuming, shouting. My 50 years of chastity almost vanished in a flash. I thought, just who is that guy? A rare prodigy of the Gongdong sect. A true genius among geniuses. Even if girls were causing drama for him, that punk could rebuild the sect no problem, I yelled. Someone born with all the skills, the charm, and the looks. I gripped the blanket tight, thinking, so why does he treat girls like they're just air? They said it's because he values morals over earthly desires. But now I'm seeing the real truth. I was sweating from the anxiety, thinking, Eugene Y is definitely playing for the other team. I've seen this before, even back in my Ainu days. Despite the procedure, they still had, A backside. There were dudes who were into that sort of thing. But I'm not on that team. I looked down south and said, "What's your deal? I'm starting to want to put it to use, damn it." I was worried. Thinking. For some strange reason, my little buddy isn't in top shape today. Kegel exercises by themselves aren't enough. Is it time to add some serious manly exercises to the mix? I lifted my head, declaring, "Eugene, why? I'm sorry, but I am destined to become the absolute king of stamina. There's no way in hell I'm giving you my rear." I put my hand down my pants and was screaming internally from the sheer bliss under the night sky. Elsewhere, Jen Yi was wrapping her chest, grumbling. So frustrating. Why am I like this? She flushed red. Thinking. I can't believe I was a jerk to the new guy today. Not just once, but 2 times. She was totally bummed at herself and said, I was just so hyped about getting a new family member that I totally went overboard. More than usual. I need to be a better role model as his senior. Then she recalled me saying, if you want to share the sex history, I'm all ears. She was blushing while getting dressed and said, that must have been really tough for him. For real? Jen Yi was still thinking about my feelings and said something nice. She nervously thought, I want to be friends with him. Is this what having a brother is like? She grinned and said, next time. I hope we can become better pals. Maybe even be shoulder-to-shoulder buddies. In the morning, I finished cleaning up the place and said, dude, I kinda saw this coming. But they're seriously broke. I'm shocked this kitchen hasn't collapsed yet. I was ticked off and thought, alright. So what's the game plan now? To be a great hero. Get famous. And score some wives. I gotta start strong and grind hard from the get-go. My eyes lit up as I declared, now that it's come to this, I'm gonna max out my stats on every single thing. Even if it's washing rice or chopping veggies. My main quest right now is paying respects to the legendary Professor Arnold Kegel. Out of nowhere, Jen Yi showed up and asked, what are you up to in the kitchen? She totally startled me, and I yelped. I sheepishly replied, hello. Senior brother. She walked over to me, saying, making breakfast I came by just in case. I nervously answered, yeah. It's kind of the newbie's job to handle this stuff. She smiled and said, for real. Though, I've never met a guy so sharp and on the ball like you. It's pretty impressive. Right, I nervously said. Yeah. And thought, making a face like that in this dump, he's so ridiculously handsome. If I was even half that good looking, my life would have been so much easier. I scratched my head and said out loud, I guess I just matured fast after the hardship of losing my parents when I was young. I'm sorry if me doing things on my own has been disruptive. She replied, worried. No. I'm being for real. I'm an orphan too. Just like you. I just felt like we're in the same boat. I meant your maturity is really admirable. I wondered, why's this kid been saying sorry so much since yesterday? Is he trying to prove he's a genuinely good person or something? I just said, yeah. She told me, I'll help you out. I've got some experience with prepping veggies too. Shocked. I yelled. Yes, she added. It's just something I used to do anyway. I can't just let you do all the work while I stand around. I thought, this guy's actually super thoughtful. See. Originally, the Sword Saint, Eugene Yi, had a junior sister. But now he's a pretty boy brother who'll one day be called the White Peach Blossom. But that's way later. For now, we're just 2 bros. From this angle, I can definitely mess around a little. I said, senior brother, if you want to help, just hang tight right here. I'll go grab some fresh water to wash the vegetables. She replied, you got it. I got the water from the pump and thought, I have zero interest in being buddies with Eugene Yi. All I want is the clout from his name, which is going to be huge way down the line. I'm going to charm every girl I can using his name, making them all totally fall for me. Then, out of nowhere, the shelf snapped, and Jen Yi saw it, yelling, look out, the pan was about to crash on me, and I shut my eyes as she grabbed my head, anxiously asking, are you okay? She was way too close, and I nervously squeaked, yeah. She was holding me so awkwardly, and I was blushing, thinking about the beautiful, rosy future ahead of us. She just smiled at me and said, you're a lot lighter than you look. My first thought was, I gotta guard the goods. I smelled wildflowers on her, And then I felt her hands on my hand and waist like I was a girl. I freaked and yelled out, "Hey, where are you touching me?" She quickly apologized. "I swear I wasn't trying to do that. Please don't get the wrong idea," angrily. I yelled. "What is wrong with you? Stop blushing. You're making this even weirder," face red and worried. She tried to calm me down, saying, "Okay, I'll go make the meal. You should rest." You were really freaked out. With a sour face, I thought, is this some kind of assassination attempt? How can a senior brother be acting like this? If the master ever saw this, he'd totally drag me out by my collar, yelling that the sect's discipline is ruined. She was just blushing and confused, trying to talk me down while I was fuming. I started grabbing the stuff off the floor and said, "Junior brother, you don't need to do this grunt work. From now on, I'm the youngest, so I'll take care of this stuff." She nervously scratched her head, replying, "All right then." Looking down, blushing, she picked a bowl off the floor. She then asked, "Is it okay if I still help out?" I glanced at her and replied, "That's fine." 2 months later, at the Gongdong sect banquet hall, near a busted-up house, John Young asked, "What do you think is the true energy of martial arts?" He explained. "Some say it's all your internal energy, so they just chug all sorts of elixirs and weird potions. Others believe it's your external energy, so they just swing their fists around all day." I was holding a tough stance, training, when he told me, "However, true energy comes from the perfect balance between internal and external forces in you. That's the peak of martial arts. So you should never, ever cheat during training." "Got it," I yelled back. "Yes, master." He left, saying, "Okay then. I'm off to see your senior brother. Don't you move an inch." I replied, "Yes," and struggled to hold my position, shaking and sweating like crazy. I thought, "Dude, I wasn't even planning on cheating until you brought it up," picturing myself with a babe. I thought, being a physical beast means having awesome vitality. What's the point of being big in just one place? "You scrawny little twig," I confidently added. "If it's for my one true purpose, then all this suffering is totally worth it." Sweat poured off me as I thought, today's training isn't so bad. Am I finally seeing the gains from 2 months of this grind? Picturing a bald, jacked dude in my head, I wondered, is this the awesome feeling that fitness freaks get when they increase their dumbbell weight? Back when I was a eunuch, no matter how hard I trained my body, I could never, ever shake off that less than manly feeling. And just because of that, I was blocked from achieving true greatness. If not for that quack doctor's garbage transformation remedy, I wouldn't have taken advantage of my poor subordinates or wrecked the environment just to gather some elixir. Angrily, I thought, the more I think about my past life, the more ticked off I get. Just you wait. Because in this life, I'm going to be a true alpha male. Gan Yu landed right in front of me, calling out, "Junior brother." I asked, Senior. "What you doing here?" She grinned. "Master said, training's done, so I'm here to pick you up." I was stunned. I yelled, "It's over already," I thought. This isn't good enough. I've got to max out this build, like yesterday, and time is just flying by. She saw I was zoning out and gave me a totally puzzled look. Later that night on Gongdong Mountain, I hit the ground thinking, can't I just secretly grind to make up for my weak spots? I braced myself for more practice and mumbled, I've got to build up some proper cardio endurance so I don't get winded so easily. Stretching my arms out, I thought, but I'm kind of worried about Master. He made the training plan so it wouldn't wreck this kid's body. If he discovers I'm doing extra reps, he's gonna shut me down immediately. I bolted ahead, thinking, but I can't just quit my night sessions. I'll never be the stamina king with basic training. Jean Y was creeping on me from a tree as I said, "All right, let's go all out today." She was giving me a weird look, and I totally clocked it. Then my foot caught a rock, and I yelled while tumbling down the hill. Dazed, I looked up and asked her, "Senior brother, why are you here?" With a grim look, she said, "I was wondering what you were up to. Sneaking out of Chong Dongak lately." Just as I thought. Extra training. She then told me, "Master says overtraining is dangerous for you. I can't just stand by while you destroy yourself with this crazy training." I thought, Are you kidding me? Am I really getting busted now? If I had just 1 year of internal energy, I would have sensed her coming a mile away, with a look of pure terror. I thought, if I let her go, she'll snitch to Master immediately. And, if I stop my night training, my stamina will drop. I clenched my jaw, thinking, this will totally mess with the hydraulics in my downtown department. Bottom line, this is a direct threat to my manliness. I pushed myself up and said, I'm sorry I made you worry, but I have a reason for my extra training. She seemed confused. So I said, Senior brother, you and I are different, unlike you. Senior, who gets 100 things from one lesson. I'm a slowpoke who forgets one thing for every one I learn. I clenched my fist hard and added, I can't stand falling behind. I don't want to get booted and end up homeless on the streets. I started tearing up as I said, if I don't train even harder, I'll never be able to catch up to you. I hate this reality where I can't even reach your toes. Senior, she was stunned. Asterisk, asterisk, yo. Eugene, you ever heard of the phrase, asterisk, asterisk, the first one to cry is the one who wins. You're a good person. So, are you still gonna snitch to Master after all this? Asterisk, asterisk, she was quiet, staring at the ground. I thought, almost got her. Just gotta turn on the waterworks a little more. Sobbing, I said, I don't want to get thrown out all of a sudden. She hugged me. I had no idea you were worried. I'm so sorry. Junior brother, I really didn't know. That's when I realized I was screaming. She thought I was bawling. So she held me tighter and said, it's all right. Don't cry. I was fuming. Asterisk, asterisk, get off me. You psycho, what's with you and grabbing me? Asterisk, 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 asterisk. This is a nightmare. How could you steal my first hug? I'd already planned for it to be with a gorgeous girl under the moonlight. Asterisk, asterisk. She held me close, and I thought, asterisk, asterisk, and so. My 50 years of purity were stolen by this senior brother. Then, I got confused and realized. Her chest felt soft. Jean, why was recalling her past? Back when she was branded a monster, with everyone pointing fingers at her. She gazed at them with sad eyes when suddenly, someone offered her rice balls, saying, don't listen to haters who talk trash. It was John Yang. And he also said, you're just human, under the same sky as us. What you lack, you can learn. He then got on his knees and asked her, won't you join me back in the present? She told him, chill, Sue. Our master won't kick you out, because your martial arts are weak. She continued, now that you're in our sect, it doesn't matter who you are. You're one of us now. Your family, and my fellow student for life. She stared right into my eyes and said, so, it's totally fine that you're struggling. You can always lean on me, just like you are now. I'll always be here to back you up and support you. She grinned at me, asking, so, I'm feeling better. I just stared at her, snot running down my face, and thought to myself, I'm feeling sympathy for my senior for the very first time since I joined the sect. She looked totally confused while I thought, not only can he master every martial art perfectly, but that prodigy, Eugene Lee, can also copy any martial art after seeing it just once. With a weird look on my face, I realized, so it's an abundance syndrome. I know all about abundance syndrome. I had the same symptoms in my past life. I added, of course, if you were a lady. I might mistake this for a chest plate, but the eastern and western chambers, which are 99% accurate, have already confirmed that Eugene Lee is a dude. So there's zero chance he's a girl. The next morning, John Young announced, as of today, we are officially done with the external martial arts training we've been doing. You've all worked super hard until now. I listened as he went on. Your foundation, strength, and bone structure have developed enough. So let's ease up on external training and start on your internal martial arts. John Y. was super excited for me. But I was just thinking, what's his deal? I'm happy we're starting internal martial arts training. But I thought angrily, I can't stand it because of Eugene Lee, even when I'm making breakfast. He tries to help when I don't need it. John Young asked. You don't seem too thrilled, I shot back. No, and thought. Let's not get sidetracked with pointless stuff right now. I've got way more important issues than Eugene Lee. I thanked my master and then told him, "But I don't want to cut back on my external martial arts training." He looked confused, and I thought, "You're not wrong to be. Master, most who start training their internal martial arts only practice the external stuff enough to maintain their physical state. The rest just focus their energy on internal arts, swordsmanship, footwork, and other similar techniques, but I can't do that. This external martial arts training is the only way to get the killer bod that will make all the ladies swoon," I thought angrily. "No matter how many times I show off this pretty boy face, it won't change the fact that I'm still not as good as Eugene Lee." He asked me, "You don't want to cut back on external training. I'd like to hear your reasoning for that." I replied, "Unlike Senior Jijin, I'm pretty slow. I believe that to properly assist my senior and help rebuild our sect, I need to work harder in different ways than others." "Master," I thought, "it might seem inefficient, but even after I start internal martial arts, I won't stop my external training, become totally pointless. Even with the same sword style, there's a huge difference when wielding it with way more strength than your opponent. Even a subtle edge like that will give meaning to all the sweat I've poured into this. In the end, it levels up into insane skills that'll decide my rank in the martial arts world." I grinned and thought, "Just let me do it." "Master, I'm confident I can put in all the necessary work." John Yang wondered, "Are those really the eyes of a child? He knows he can't be like others, so he works hard his own way. Chil Su has already recognized his own gifts. Is he aware that he's a prodigy?" he thought. "Our sect used to have the know-how to turn talents like G, J, and An into true masters. But now it's all just turned to ash and vanished." That's why Chil Su's words, though wrong by the martial world's usual standards, are totally correct when it comes to rebuilding our fallen sect. He gave me a paper, saying it held the notes for the foundational internal martial art, the So Young Sim Biop. Unrolling it, I stared at the page and thought, "The heck is this? Wait, didn't he just give me permission for extra training? In that case, it feels kinda awkward to keep training in secret." Master told me, "The martial world is merciless to the untalented. However, to those who dare to challenge, every path is open." He looked at me and said, "I will permit you to continue your extra external training. What's more, I'll now teach you the minor yang internal art. So memorize the notes for the technique that I just wrote down for you." I was super hyped and replied, "Yes, under the bright sun." I sat down in a meditation pose, and John Yang said to me, "I will start the Gangi Doin. Are you ready?" I closed my eyes, replying, "Yes." "Jean, why was nervously watching me?" John Yang put his hand on my back. "I'll inject internal energy into you and guide your chi following the notes. Make sure you remember this pathway." I thought, a warm energy is swirling around my solar plexus. This is a feeling I've never had, not even in my past life. It's not the freezing chill of a winter's wind, but a warm feeling that's spreading through my whole body. Is this what it's like to have sunlight flowing in your veins? Light was shining from his hands as John Yang sent his energy into me. And I wondered, so this is Yang Qi. I looked at him, and he told me, "Congratulations on starting your internal martial arts training. Chil Su." I checked myself out and thought, I'm no longer just a servant. I was smiling, thinking, at this moment, I've truly been reborn. "Master," I was celebrating on the ground. And Jean, why was just looking at me and smiling. Later on, as night fell, John Yang and Jean, why were eating dinner? John Yang asked, "What's that supposed to mean? You want to keep doing your external training?" "John, why?" She replied, "Yes. As a senior, I want to lead my junior brother by example." He held a cup in his hands and said, "It seems you're learning how to build teamwork as well." He then brought the cup to his face and added, "Go on and do as you please. For you, Jean, why? This is all a learning experience." A little while later, he looked out the window and said, "Chil Su and Jean, why are still so young, yet so serious about rebuilding the sect and our martial arts? I can finally grant the master's wishes." Elsewhere, several deer were lying dead on the ground, aground in a cave, while a bloody three-eyed snake slithered on by. Somewhere in a small village, an old fellow was freaking out because his barn was trashed and all his goats were gone. He was going to sell them at the market today. Then he just passed out cold from the shock. In the house, the old man was laid out on a bed, saying, I was going to donate the money from selling the goats to the sect. Tears streamed down his face as he said, I may not be rich, but I wanted to give something to the sect. My lifelong dream that I've worked so hard for. Gone in a flash. The little kid shouted, Why are you talking about a donation with all this going on? Why do you care so much about that sect? It's totally washed up now, he bolted. And his mom said, This kid has no manners. The grandpa said, It's okay. Daughter. He's just upset, 'cause I'm sick. I must look pretty pathetic to Youngsick. That kid has no idea what the sect was like in its prime. The sect was incredible before it went downhill. The #1 sect in Gansu was what gave me hopes and dreams when I was just a normal kid. A continued. Maybe he's right. After the demonic sect's invasion, all the Gong sect's teachings were probably forgotten. The amazing Gong sect from the old days is gone forever. Meanwhile, at the sect, I was training with a big grin, thinking, I can totally feel it. The Yang Qi has finally settled in my lower dantian, but it feels weird when I try the minor Yang technique. But I can't quite put my finger on why. Is it because I mastered that one messed up technique? The sunflower scripture. In my past life, I stroked my shin, thinking, the stuff my master told me about the Gong sect's martial arts yesterday didn't sound weird at all. Zhang Yang Gang had been teaching me. Our sect's symbol is the yin-yang. You see, it represents our ancestors' teachings. Yin-yang transformation is about water flowing up and fire burning down. Basically, it's about reversing yin and yang to reach the ultimate state of being. That's why ignorant people trash our sect's martial arts, claiming it's like dark magic that defies the natural order. But we don't use our arts like the demonic sect. Our only goal is to wipe out the demonic sect for good. So remember that difference and don't fall for their tricks. I clenched my fist, thinking, man, whatever. I'm just glad I joined the Gong sect, the martial arts of a real man who faces things head on. This kind of grit is the perfect skill for taking on the world's challenges. As I was walking along, I heard a noise from the sect gate. It was a little kid yelling, Please, Gong sect. You gotta help my grandpa. He was bawling his eyes out, yelling, If you're really the #1 sect in Gansu that fights for what's right, then you should be able to help my grandpa, who's supported you his whole life. Jingwei called out, Junior brother, and asked, Did you hear that noise just now? I answered, Yeah. It sounds like someone is asking for help. Of all the rotten luck, he shows up right when the master is away. Looking worried, she said, I'm not sure what the problem is, but I think we should go see what's up. We headed down to the sect gate to meet him and asked, You want us to catch the thief who broke into your barn and stole your animals? Looking confused? He replied, Yeah. I gave him a look and said, That's kinda weird. Usually, when a theft happens in a town, you report it to the ding authorities. Right, with puppy dog eyes. He cried that this wasn't the work of a normal person, even if they were starving. Who wrecks a barn this bad? My grandpa has been a huge fan of the Gongdong sect forever, and he raised those goats just to donate a little something to help the sect out. He found the trashed barn when he went to check on the goats he was gonna sell. Shaking, he pleaded, I know it's bold to ask for help when I'm broke, but can you please help him get back on his feet, especially since my gramps has backed the Gongdong sect forever. I mulled it over for a sec, and then said, Still, props to the kid for trekking all the way out here. Guess we could at least go take a look. Right, a little later, we were at his barn. I noticed the hillside it was on connects right up to the joint mountain. Figured this place probably gets tons of wild animal attacks on a good day, let alone now. Then I saw a trail that looked exactly like a snake made it. My brain went, if it's this big, it must be a mythical beast. So, did some giant snake slither down here looking for a snack? I asked. Senior, have you ever heard any local legends or sightings of a giant snake on Gongdong Mountain? She was like, Nope. Never heard a thing. If some dangerous mythical beast was chilling on Gongdong Mountain, the master would have handled it already. My mind started racing. Since Gongdong is a sacred Taoist spot, a famous mountain with all that spiritual energy, even little critters could totally mutate. If this is the first she's hearing of it, then it hasn't been around long. A grin spread across my face. If I eat a snake this big, I could get a huge power boost. I told her, Come on, it's us. But she asked, Are we sure it's okay to do this without telling the master? I gave her a grin and said, It might be a whole lot of nothing. And we can't just ignore a plea for help from a Gongdong local. She was picturing the kid's teary face. So I added that if we bail on such a dedicated child, it would just prove people's misunderstandings about our righteous sect, right? She nodded and said, I get it. If it's really a mythical beast, we need to stop it before it does any more harm. The kid was totally ecstatic to hear that. She picked him up, and I said, since the barn is so wrecked, there must be some tracks left. Let's get the kid home, and then scope out the area for clues. She said, okay, I'll take him back. A while later, in the woods, I yelled, Senior, I found something. It was a massive trail left by the snake. I told her it looks like our mythical beast killed the goats and took off this way. We took off running, and I yelled, let's hurry up and catch it. While we were leaping through the trees, she called out, Junior, and asked again, are you sure we should be doing this without telling the master? I shot back, aren't we helping people? And thought, man, she's such a by-the-book righteous sect member. I landed on a branch and told her, but for now, we should check the tracks carefully. If we miss something, we could get lost. 2. Then I froze. The tracks just ended right here. She yelled, Junior brother, oh. Crap, I looked up just in time to see a snake, jaws wide, lunging to take a huge bite out of me. Panicked. She screamed my name. But in this life or death moment, my future memories came to the rescue. Before diving into the Murim world as Eugene the swordsman, we'd somehow gotten lost on Gongdong Mountain. And while stumbling around, we ran into the legendary Guang Qinghua. He'd found his ancestors' ancient martial arts in a treasure trove and was rumored to have used an elixir, turning a small creature into a full-blown, legendary one. That thing must soak up a ton of spiritual energy. If a spot like that exists on Gongdong Mountain, then it's gotta be here. I grabbed its fangs with a grin, thinking if I can just survive this little mess, I won't just get a power-up, but I might also snag the lost martial arts of the Gongdong sect. She screamed my name as the snake dragged me off. I just held onto its fangs for dear life as Jinye raced my way, thinking, he's poisoned but still hanging on. If this keeps up for any longer, he's totally gonna die. I have to slice its body first. She swung her sword at the snake, only to watch it bounce right off its scales. The snake whipped its tail, sending her flying into a tree. My eyes snapped over to where she landed, thinking, snap out of it. Eugene Lee. Even when things go sideways, you absolutely cannot afford to panic. I snatched a nearby branch and jammed it straight into the snake's eye. It let out a sick hiss and started thrashing around. I used that opening to leap from its crushing coils, just barely getting away. But right when I landed, a sharp pain exploded in my shoulder, making me flinch. She landed next to me, eyes wide with worry. Junior brother, are you all right? Are you okay? She asked, panicked. I'm fine for now, I grunted. But we gotta focus on the fight. Glancing at the snake, I told her, we walked right into its trap. I saw you try to slice its body a moment ago, but its scales are way too tough. Gripping her sword, she answered, yeah, they were way stronger than I thought. Totally drained. She said, looks like we have to take its head off in one shot, but I'm not fast enough to keep up. I can't even find an opening. What's the plan meanwhile? The poison was starting to kick in real good, and I thought, this version of Eugene Lee isn't strong enough yet. She's gonna have a rough time with a monster like this. I glanced at her, thinking, I've got my past life skills, so I can still throw down even with this poison. But we're toast if this rookie version of Eugene Lee gets poisoned. I have to make an opening. I ripped off my shirt and told her, Senior sister, I'm gonna give you a signal. When I do, unleash everything you've got with the Soyang technique. Looking totally shocked, she stammered, how can you even move in your condition? I charged at the monster, yelling back. There's no time to think. The snake opened its jaws, and I just kept running, gripping a piece of cloth in my hand, thinking, no matter how tough this beast is, I dodged its lunge and yelled, its right side is wide open. I wrapped the cloth around its snout, held on tight, and screamed, now. Senior sister Shi shot forward with a battle cry, slicing the monster clean in two before landing. Panting, she said. So the neck was its weak spot, she thought. Hold on. Did he know that this whole time? Is that why he pointed me to its neck, seeing me collapsed? She ran to my side, screaming out my name. My face was red as I thought, man, I'm burning up. They say this snake venom is packed with strong yang energy. I guess those old-timers weren't kidding. This is actually great. As she held me close, my mind was racing. With my sweet energy control, I can ditch the toxin and absorb the pure yang energy. Meanwhile, she was crying. And I'm thinking, Eugene Lee, chill out. I'm gonna be totally fine in a minute. She was just screaming my name. You have to wake up. Her face was pure horror as she cried. What do I do? This is all my fault. You pushed yourself to make an opening for me, even after you were poisoned. Clutching me, her mind screamed, I have to save him. I have to save him. She laid me down and began cleaning the wound on my neck with her mouth. When it dawned on me, I was totally floored. As she tried to draw the venom out, I started yelling my head off, spitting out the nasty stuff, she thought. The poison must be messing with his tongue. I was just trembling, furious, and cursing her under my breath, blushing. She thought, he must be in so much pain. I have to get this poison out of him immediately, she whispered. It's okay. I'll make the pain go away. A bit later, by a campfire, I sat up, checking my arm. She said, your pulse seems normal now. Thank goodness. I just said, yep. Then she added, but you know, this is the first time I've ever considered eating a demon. I showed her the cooked meat. Well, it depends on the demon, but if you cook this snake just right, it's a superfood for your health and energy. She took a bite of snake and said, I wish Master was here to taste this. I got annoyed. Why is this girl thinking of Master in a situation like this? I told her, once we finish eating, let's follow the snake's tracks. If we can follow it back, we should be able to find its nest. Later, under the moon, we found the end of the trail. I looked up. It goes right into that cave, she told me. I can feel a massive amount of spiritual energy flowing from that cave. I asked her, you can feel that? I saw her worried face and thought, man, what a useful skill. She must have found this place in her past life using it. As we walked deeper into the cave, she muttered, I never knew a place like this existed in all of Guangdong. This can't be the legendary divine altar. Can it? I answered. It could be. The divine altar is where our sect's founders trained. The Guangdong sect's greatest fighter, the sword master, from about 300 years back, was rumored to have become an immortal right in this very cave. My mouth watered as I thought, if this is really the spot, then there's got to be tons of pills here that can supercharge my vitality. She then spotted some pills on the ground and ran over. Junior brother, look over here. This whole box of pills is spilled on the ground. I responded. That snake we fought probably ate these pills to power up and turn into a demon. We then found a big house with some books on a table. She began looking through the books and gasped. The secret techniques of the Guangdong sect have been hidden here this whole time. Is this actually where our ancestors trained? She wondered. Is this for real? The legendary divine altar? I then asked. Did you score anything? She replied. I think I found some martial arts scrolls. Can't believe we're this lucky, I shouted. Nice. Pointing deeper in. I told her. Looks like this cave has more hidden paths. So I'm gonna go take a look. She excitedly shot back. Yes. I want to explore the cave too. As she started to head toward the cave, I slammed on the brakes, then started sprinting, thinking, there's zero time to waste. I gotta find that elixir first. Every single herb in this cave belongs to me. Then I saw something and froze, thinking, if I can get to it 1 second faster, I'll never have to deal with Senior Sis's pestering again. Right in front of me was a pill floating near a rock. I was practically drooling as I thought. And thought, I have to bury my humiliating past. With this thing, I'm one step closer to becoming the harem king. I was walking to the pill and about to snatch it when somewhere in the cave, Jean Y walked on and found a bathhouse. She noticed some clues. Then, she heard a scream and started running to me, yelling, what's going on? She saw me laid out near a pill that was radiating some seriously cold energy. Shocked, she yelled, that's a Munu, I thought. Munu, an elixir, made over 1,000 years from extreme yin energy. It's a super rare medicine. But its yin energy is so strong, it's a total disaster for a guy's vitality. She was concerned. asking, "Junior, are you okay?" I was startled. Thinking something awful had just happened, I thought angrily. It is awful. You dummy. This is basically a catastrophe for me. I was picturing my previous life. If a man's body gets overloaded with yin energy, his physique can start changing to, look more like a woman's. I was bawling my eyes out. If I eat this Munu, I could lose all the size and vigor I've worked so hard for. She got worried and asked, "Junior, are you crying? Are you okay?" I replied, "No. These are tears of joy," and told her, "Senior brother, this is without a doubt the legendary Munu. With this much, a single person could awaken their vital energy and meridians." She was totally floored when I said, "Senior brother, you're the one who should take this elixir." She then said, "Me, no way. You're the one who found it first." "Junior," I screamed in my head. "This Munu is worse than garbage to me," sweetly. I replied, "No. It'd be a complete waste on me. I'm too slow-witted. If we happen to share it, the effect gets halved. So for efficiency, it's better you, the one rebuilding the sect. Take it," she said. "No. Junior, you should take the Munu times, because times you lack talent. You're the one who needs the elixir. I'm sure I can ascend just by training." Blushing, she said, "So, it's only right for you to take it and stand with me." Hearing that shocked me, and I thought, this stubborn, righteous kid, turning it down when I'm handing it over. She was calling my name, and I thought, all right, I'll just make it so you have no other choice but to take it. I grabbed her hand. "How about you take it as a request from your little brother?" She looked surprised, so I laid it on thicker. "I'm offering this elixir out of respect for you, my big brother. Why can't you see this is for your own good?" She blushed, and with a trembling voice, she replied, "Okay, fine, I'll take it." I thought, man, when it comes to the bro code, he's a total sucker. I told her, "Since Munu is a yin elixir, you must use internal energy that matches the yin element. Didn't we recover any primers on basic techniques?" she asked. "Yes. We did find the 3 yin true technique." "Right. I need to memorize the mantras immediately." Then she tossed me a few books and started speed reading one herself. I thought nervously, check out the speed she's flipping pages. So, this is the heavenly body. Huh. At this crazy rate, she could absorb the elixir with almost no help. She says, "Okay. I've memorized everything." I just replied, "Already." She went over to the pill, picking it up in her hand. She thought, this Munu that my junior so generously gave me, no matter what. I have to make this power mine. She pops the pill, then suddenly clutches her chest, thinking, it feels like my heart is turning to ice. She was trembling when I yelled out, "Senior brother," she then collapsed, thinking, this power is going absolutely berserk inside me. If this keeps up, I'm going to lose control. I shielded my face from the blast and worriedly thought, the Munu's energy is in a full-on brawl with her own internal power. Could it be that the Doppler power is just too much for her to handle? This is looking real bad. All of a sudden, Ganhui was just floating in a void. Turns out, she's inside her own mindscape. She's thinking, Junior gave me this elixir. I need to make this power my own. And fast. Then she reaches out to some weird goop that turns to water and starts to pull her under. She finds herself facing a small child who was taking out crows with a rock. The little girl was thinking, that crow took out the entire family of sparrows. So I dealt with it. Why are you giving me that look? Huh. She stopped and stared directly at Ganhui, asking her, why does everyone always call you a monster? When Ganhui heard that, she froze. The little girl then lunged at her with a terrifying grin. I was shielding my face from the raw power blasting off Ganhui's body. I thought, even with the heavenly body, is her own power still no match for the Munu's force? So, the demon inside of Eugene Y found a crack in her mental defenses and attacked. With Eugene Y's insane talent, I thought she'd absorb the elixir with no problem. I can't believe the great Eugene Wee has an inner demon. 2. I started running to her side and said, you know, I hate unnecessary contact. so I wasn't going to use Jinjin. I scooped her up in my arms, adding, "But I can't let my blue chip stock go totally bankrupt." I began pushing my energy into her body and yelled, "Get a grip on yourself, senior brother." My voice reached her as her inner demon was choking her out. She whispered my name. "Junior." I told her. "You." "She have to seize control of the elixir's power right now," she said. "I'm trying. But the demon." I told her. "Chant the 3 yin true technique. Guide the yin energy through the meridians." "Senior, listen to me," I shouted. "If you lose focus, you might fall into a state of demonic deviation." With a shocked look, I said, "That's some crazy powerful yin energy, but since this is Eugene Wee, she can handle this much. If it was anyone else, they'd already be a total vegetable. I really can't let my senior, who's destined to secure my awesome future and is supposed to get to work and help me rebuild the sect, become a total mess. Count your blessings, Eugene Wee, because your junior has hit the level of an absolute master." Back in her mindscape, before the demon choked her, a red light flared in its eyes as it hissed, "Tell me." Eugene Y grabs a nearby rock and just smacks the inner demon with it. While the thing screamed, she started to bolt as it gave chase. She's thinking, "This is the price for the power I was born with. This beast inside, just waiting to devour me when I'm weak." The demon throws a haymaker. She blocks it, but still gets sent flying. All banged up as the fiend closes in on her, she thought, "Is this really how it ends? So pathetic." Then, out of nowhere, she hears me yell, "Don't you dare give up, senior." My energy starts surging through her entire body. She's like, "Wait, is he actually sending me his power from that far away?" As I'm pumping her full of energy, I say, "Focus, senior. Don't let the energy flow. Stop all." While my own hands and body are starting to ice over, I tell her, "Ignore the demon trying to trick you. What's important right now is to absorb that elixir." She faces the demon as I say, "I'll unblock your meridian somehow. It's gonna hurt, but I need you to make an opening for me," she thought. "The energy outside is insane. He must be in a really tough spot," she thinks. Just as the demon lunges right at her, she gets to her feet, thinking, "My junior is risking it all for me." She balls up her fist, screaming, "I won't give up," then leaps into action. She lands a solid punch, sending the demon flying back into a pile of rocks. Her mind is racing. "Okay, I think I get what Junior's plan is. Step 1, absorb the elixir essence to refill my internal energy and crush this mind demon." She began meditating, thinking, "If I feel my internal energy dip while I'm controlling the essence, and that mind demon wakes up, I just have to pump in enough energy to match." The demon pulls itself from the rubble, its face all messed up, and it charges at Genie again. On the outside, I'm pushing every last bit of my energy to her. Then, all of a sudden, a barrier materializes, blocking the demon's path. I yell, "This is it. Xenior Filtrum Point. Center of the trunk point. The intersection point." Blood starts trickling from her lips. Outside, I'm screaming, "You can't stop now, keep going. Shatter that meridian." But then, the demon smashes through the barrier, lunging at her with its claws out. Her eyes snap open just as the demon's claws are about to shred her face. Next thing you know, the demon is slammed into the dirt and tries to lift its head. A massive boulder drops on it, squashing the demon until it just vanishes. I let out a sigh, feeling the energy finally settle. Looks like she pulled it off and absorbed the elixir. I tell her, "Great job, senior. Now, just focus that internal energy to the Filtrum point. Opening the Ren and Du meridians is the next step." And in her head, she's thinking, "Oh, Junior, are you really fine with just giving this all up? You've been like this from the start, always putting me first. You want to get stronger, but you train so hard daily, but you give every big opportunity to me. You're always looking out for me. It makes me so happy, and so sad at the same time. Please look after yourself, too. Because of you, I didn't become a total mess. I'll never, ever forget this. To repay this debt, even if the entire world turns on you, I promise I will always always be on your side. I look over at her and say, "Whoa. You're already doing the 3-in-1 true technique, I guess, with a heavenly body like yours. Senior, your tendons and meridians are just built different from normal people." I stand up, sighing. Man, that was a real workout. Took a lot out of me. I glance at the empty spot and think, but the real question is, are they seriously all out of elixirs? I remember this one elixir from my past life that made me ache all over. But it was just Munu. Then my eyes drift over to Genie's assets. And I think, so this is why I dodged girls like the plague in my last life. This is already a problem, but this crazy yin energy might have made my issues worse. In any case, I felt kinda dumb for going through all this. Then I spotted a bush by a big rock and was like, is that moss thriving in all this yin energy? What the heck is this? I thought it was just a weed. But the yang energy around it and how lush it was caught my eye. I grinned and said, it's Huanggi A tier below Munu. But still a fantastic herb. I paused. A shocked look on my face as it finally clicked. I totally freaked out. Shouting, of course. It all makes sense. Mugak didn't just leave Munu with no backup plan. I snagged a piece and popped it in my mouth. Thinking, this is how you get ahead after being isekai'd. Then I started meditating. Like, now, shall I begin my journey of luck? Usually, you'd gather the elixir's essence in your lower dantian for internal energy. But I'm just gonna spread this Huanggi energy all over and soak it up. I tried to stay focused. Thinking, once this bod gets healthier, my vitality will get a major boost too. While I was deep in meditation, sweating buckets, I thought, unleash the man energy. It's been ages since I felt real yang energy. I let out a blast of energy and noted, not quite as potent as Munu. Then I snapped my eyes open, thinking, but hey, I've got a body that won't get sick now. This is a solid win. I stood up and scanned the area and saw Eugene. Y was gone. I figured, guess he went to wash up after his energy training. I gave myself a sniff and added, man, I feel nasty. Should I go clean up too? Mugak lived here, so there's gotta be a bathhouse around. Some clothes were folded nearby. As a girl slipped into the hot spring, sighing, this feels amazing. She jumped when she heard me call out, senior brother, you taking a bath? She nervously replied, yeah. Junior, stay out, I responded. I'll wait. Water trickled down her face as she mumbled, that's a relief. Then she covered up with her hands and added, I can't let him see me in this embarrassing situation. A bit later, her face all red, she thought to herself, my junior almost found out I was a girl. Even after living my whole life as a guy, these situations still get me all flustered. She thought, my master always told me that in the world of martial arts, I have to live as a man to not be looked down on and to have an easier time. With a determined look, she clenched her fist and said, anyway, that was a close call. But I'm super lucky I took that elixir. If it wasn't for my junior, I could have ended up crippled. It's hard to believe someone so kind as my junior. He didn't even hesitate to give me that priceless elixir. And he never held my lack of talent in martial arts against me. She added, I really want to do something for him. 2. She saw her reflection in the water. Her face blushing, she dunked her head under, thinking to herself, why am I feeling this way? Just thinking of him makes my heart pound. I want to always be by his side, to help him avoid any trouble, to be with him. She covered her face with her hands, then rose from the water and quietly looked down, thinking, what is wrong with you? Have you lost your mind? Eugene, why? She started to get dressed, still thinking, Junior is like a brother to you. That's it. You absolutely cannot let yourself feel anything more. She added, these feelings are just brotherly love. Let's quit this silly daydreaming right now. Rebuilding the sect. Looking after it and stand by Junior's side. I can't do that in a woman's frail body. I've got to be a man. I was waiting outside thinking, a bath is taking forever. Isn't it like a 5-minute job for a dude in perfect health? I mean, I'm super thorough because I know the ladies hate a stinky dude. Still, wow. This place is surprisingly huge. These luminous pearls everywhere totally scream the Gongdong sect was loaded. Who would have ever guessed? that the sect of Muguka, the literal best swordmaster under heaven, would end up in such a sorry state in my past life. The record said 50 years back. After the Gongdong massacre, just one guy survived, Lim Beian. The user of the Heavenly Thunder Sword. Lim Beian made it out because he was locked up in a meditation cell, getting punished for messing up. But even he wasn't some martial arts pro. Most key texts got torched when the sect's library went up in flames. And just like that, the Gongdong sect's story was over. Before kicking the bucket, Lim Beian trained just one student. The current Gongdong sect leader, John Yang. A.K.A. the Demon Slay Swordsman. John Yang's title sounds epic. Right, but everyone knows it's a total joke. That nickname was a gift from the Demon Sect faction, Isang, who are always eyeing the Gongdong sect's leftovers. They made it up to clown on the sect for losing its demon-slaying moves. Which is why these martial texts we found are a huge deal. I also thought, Muguka probably didn't build this place for the future. But from the Gongdong sect's point of view, this is a literal godsend. If the stories are right that Muguka wiped all records of the Guangzhong blood cave to hide it, then it totally explains why the demon sect couldn't find it. But then I worriedly thought, but something's still weird. Why would Muguka just delete the records of a place this holy? Was it just to hide it? Any Gongdong member back then could have found this place blindfolded. It's crazy to think he saw the sect's fall coming before the demon sect even attacked. But one thing's for sure, this sacred spot was wiped from history purely by Muguka's choice. And here's another weird thing in my past life. After I got the elixir, I returned here to train in private. But by that time, the cave entrance was totally caved in. I kept on thinking. But now, this place is pristine. Not a single crack in sight. It looks like it could stand for another few decades. So, was the Guangzhong blood cave's collapse in my past life not an accident, Junior? She called. Waiting long, she grinned, adding, Junior, get in and wash up. I stared at her, thinking, is this the Mansu's effect, or something? But his face is looking way prettier than normal. I cursed quietly, then decked myself in the face. She got confused and yelled, Junior, what are you doing? With blood gushing from my nose. I said, it's nothing. Just had to clear my head a bit, she said. Okay. Looking worried, I stripped and hopped in the spring, thinking, Eugene, why is that guy getting hotter every day? What is this smell? Is that a floral scent from some fancy grooming routine? I also thought. Why bother with fragrance when his face is like a squid's? I looked down. Then I smashed the water, screaming. That walking demon spawn. A while later, I got out of the hot spring. Drying my face, I glanced over. I hit up Jingwei, asking, Senior, what's the plan? She's like, whoa, you're all clean already. She's like, just sorting these martial arts scrolls we jacked. It hit me. Once we're back at HQ, the Gongdong sect will finally get its lost arts back. Up till now, we only had the hard Yang Qi technique, the greater Yang method. But now we've nabbed the core Yin techniques, the 3 Yin true technique. So we've recovered all the internal Qi arts. Once someone maxes out both the greater Yang and the 3 Yin true technique, they can unlock the next level unified primordial Qi technique. Then it hit me. But of course, the unified primordial Qi technique is MIA. There's supposed to be 8 scrolls in total, including the demon-slaying sword technique. I riffled through the scrolls and asked, Senior, is this it? There are only 7 books here. She just nodded. Yep. I looked all over. Only 7. I was shook, asking, but what about the demon-slaying sword technique? Wasn't it in here? She just said. Nope. I'm thinking, no way. This can't be. In my past life, Senior for sure found the demon-slaying sword technique right here. The intel from the Eastern faction can't possibly be wrong. I glanced at her, realizing, so the legendary swordmaster Muguka didn't leave his technique in some dusty old scroll. Then again, I thought, that's not impossible. Masters have tons of ways to pass on skills without writing. But a beast like Muguka, who'd reached transcendence of life and death, probably left his sword art in a totally different way. She got all hyped. I found some sword marks past the bath. Now I'm interested. I was like, sword marks. She just takes off running, yelling, come on. I'll show you. As we went, I wondered. Aren't they just some random scratches on a rock? She promised me. You'll get it when you see them. Junior, we finally pull up to this huge wall. And she adds, because the marks are just hauntingly beautiful. I put my hand on the wall and said, Junior, there's something legit behind this wall. Probably some mechanism from like 300 years ago. Powered by sheer force. We've only got one shot at this. Too much or too little power, and it all crumbles. We gotta be careful. Nervously. She replied, if you can't pull off the demon-slaying sword technique, the wall might not even budge. I said, maybe. But don't sweat it. We'll figure something out. I thought to myself, I'm not totally in the dark about this demon-slaying sword technique. That truce between the imperial family and martial artists isn't just held up by blind loyalty. You know, the imperial palace is always spying on martial artists. Snagging secret moves from big-name sects to keep them on a leash. The Gongdong sect's demon-slaying sword technique is so famous. It's definitely in the palace's private stash. That's how I recognize these marks as the celestial being sword technique. Whatever's behind this wall has to be the real test left by the legendary celestial sword lord. I started walking forward. She yelled my name and it hit me. Every single martial art has its own footwork. This whole place is a massive clue from the celestial sword lord. So I started moving. Leaping from one spot to the next. Jingwei followed. Asking, dude, what are you even doing? Then it clicked for her. This is footwork. The sword marks on the floor are a guide. Junior's following the trail. Going to where this whole footwork pattern ends, where the technique began. I stopped at a vine-covered wall. Slashed it with my sword. And called out, Senior brother, showing her the cuts on the wall. I asked her, think you can read this? The demon-slaying sword secrets, carved by the celestial sword lord, were so hard it took us 2 days just to start interpreting them. Eugene Y quickly figured out that the lightning marks meant the technique actually began on the opposite side. We put our heads together, using every secret Gongdong sect technique in my brain to reverse engineer the incantation. As she practiced her swing, she asked, wouldn't it just be better to swing it like this? Pointing out her mistake. I said, if you do that, the angle is all wrong and it'll fail. I was so frustrated, having to fix even Eugene Y's form. I swear I was clenching my jaw so hard I thought it was going to break. I always imagined my first physical contact in this life would be teaching a sword to a beautiful woman. But how many of my firsts has Eugene Wee snatched from me when hungry? We ate Walgrain pills. And when thirsty, we drank from the valley stream. At last, when we successfully reverse calculated the demon-slaying sword technique, I nearly hugged Eugene Y, forgetting he's a guy. She walked on, looking at her sword, and said, now, all that's left is to use the demon-slaying sword technique on the stone wall with the lightning marks. I nodded back. Yep, this part is all you. Senior brother. Worried. She asked, are you really sure I can do it? To be honest, I'm not confident. Without the celestial force art, I can't properly use the demon-slaying sword technique, I told her. Well, this probably won't work. And she looked stunned. I explained. I mean, of course. The sword marks on the wall are clues for someone who has already mastered this technique to its absolute peak. I added, it was probably never meant for us. If you didn't have the celestial martial body, senior brother, restoring this sword technique would have been totally impossible. She asked, but is there no sure way to open the wall? Touching the wall? I replied, don't sweat it. Senior brother, it's not like we're out of options. I thought, no matter how slick this mechanism is, it's 300 years old now. It's way more vulnerable than before. I began pushing my mana into the wall, thinking, I was once the head of the Imperial Intelligence Organization. When it comes to messing with mechanical devices, nobody in the world is better than me. Originally, the technique's sharp sword energy was meant to unlock it, but I picked the lock and added, because the tech is ancient, the non-essential parts of this mechanism can't tell the difference between sword energy and my own. The door slowly creaked open. I explained, using this trick, I can open the door without mastering the full technique. I looked at her, saying, there we go. Senior brother. She looked at me nervously. So I said, let's go. She gripped her sword tight, standing silently with her eyes closed. Opening them, she walked ahead and thought, what Eugene Y can't do, I'll do. What I can't do, Eugene Y will. I watched her confidently and thought, don't you worry, Eugene Y. You're not the same person you were before. Then she dashed forward. Using her foot technique, I motioned her to the wall. She screamed, slashing her sword. And bam, a huge water wave appeared. Thanks to me. Of course, and because I'm a genius. She stared at the wrecked wall, totally ecstatic, grabbing my hands and shouting, my guy. The wall is busted open. You're incredible, she cheered. This proves my restored demon-slaying sword technique was perfect. The secret techniques of the Gungdong sect are ours again, she smiled, thanking me all flustered. I replied, hold on. Don't pop the champagne yet. We gotta see what the Celestial Sword Lord left for us. Then, we both stared forward. I gave her a nod and we moved on. Then bam. I wake up, tied to a pillar, totally confused about when I even passed out. The ceiling gave me a weird sense of déjà vu. Then I saw some old dude chatting about selling me off to the palace. When they both glanced over, it hit me like a truck. It was Wong Sam, the backstabber, and the palace's broker, Jiang Hian. I realized it then the second I touched that device. I was trapped in some kind of illusion. I was hoping for a legendary treasure behind that wall. But all I got was this messed up, cruel mind trip. I was so mad, veins popping on my face, thinking, you're gonna regret this. Celestial Sword Lord. I swear,